So I'm going to have a number of terms, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to take the sum of those terms. All right? So let's look at the pattern here. So if I take even numbers and I increase the sum of terms, we might be able to make some sort of conjecture. So basically, if I take my even numbers, which are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and I want to see, based on how many terms I have of the even numbers, what the total sum will be. Maybe there's some sort of mathematical thing that I can do. Maybe I can make a conjecture. So the first thing I got to do is I got to crank through the math and see if there's a pattern that can be recognized. So if I have one term, which is just 2, the sum of that is just 2. If I have 2 terms, the sum of that is, well, 2 plus 4, which is 6. If I have 3 terms, I have 2 plus 4 plus 6, which is 12. And if I have 4 terms, I have 20. So my pattern then is 2, 6, 12, and 20. 2, 6, 12, and 20. Well, that's interesting. That's real interesting. So now how do there's got to be a pattern there. Let's go through the motions and think about the pattern. I see some of you guys are looking at your textbook. You probably already know what the pattern is, but I want you to think about this like you haven't seen it in the textbook. Well, to go from 2 to 6, I could add 4, but to go from 6 to 12, adding 4 doesn't necessarily work, and I'm looking for a pattern. Right? I could multiply 2 by 3 and get 6, but then I got to multiply 6 by 2 to get 12, and that isn't a very good pattern. And then I got to multiply 12 by something to get 20, and that's just not possible to do with whole numbers. But there is one little thing. 2 is actually equal to 1 times 2. 6 is actually 2 times 3. 12 is actually 3 times 4. And 20 is actually
4 times 5.
4 times 5, good. All right. So tell me, what's the sum of 30 terms?
30.
Okay, so now here's the interesting thing. Informally, I have the term 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3, 4 and 4. Now what are we multiplying those numbers by?
3.
Well, you're getting way ahead of me. Let's look at the pattern. 1 times 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 times 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 times 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 times 1 plus 1 is 5. So we're just multiplying it by the next integer. And somebody in the back already said that, well, Mr. Adams, we're probably going to take this and say 30 times the next integer, which is 1.
900.
930.
Yes, it is. 930. Now, do you see how recognizing that pattern might be a lot better? Could you imagine adding 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10 plus 12 plus 14, 30 terms? We would get 930, but it's a lot quicker and easier to use these patterns.